Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, and all the great people on the other side of the screen. My name is Osnir, and today we'll continue reading some audio stories about cars and science, specifically about philosophy and cars. Sometimes I get questions coming from viewers that how can you combine, philosophy and cars? I mean, I don't know. That's happens. I'm just noticing similarities, and I just start connecting certain theoretical things to real world stuff, which is which derives from cars. And today, by the way, we'll be speaking about Niccolò Machiavelli, the guy who is considered to be the father of realism, kind of brutal guy. Yeah, and I'm taking his kind of brutal ways of organizing society, and I'm showing how this kind of brutality works for street racing. So, can you win street races by using Machiavellian principles? I mean, this is a rhetoric question. I strongly encourage you not to win or participate in street racing because it's kind of dangerous, and not only for you. Anyway, let's go deeper into the text. Again, I'm sorry for all those mispronunciations I can possibly do, and this article was a part of my book Introduction to Academic Driving. It was first published in 2018, so check out the link in the description if you want to know more. I hope you like that, both books and my reading here. Okay, so how to win street races. Always. Italians invented winning strategy centuries ago. Afterwards, they perfected jostling and V10. So, you are 21 and you want to become a street racer. What a great idea! Power, authority, challenge, risk, and adventures. The supersonic break beyond the unimaginable limits. The army of trusted hardcore supporters. Addictiveness, culture, glory, community, and hustles. The starring on social networks. YouTube, and why not, appearing on the most wanted list in a local police department. Rivalry, adrenaline, racing, chasing, engine revving, and tires burning. The real you, as Dominic Toretto in the real life Fast and Furious. Take it as it comes. Street racing is an experience worth living and dying for. Breathtaking and pure. Sparkling with twists and turns. With the devil hiding in the details. Speaking of the details, by the way, some frayed chaps in government consider street racing a crime. According to US law, street racing occurs when two or more cars engage in a competition on public roads or in areas which were never built for this kind of activity. I mean, abandoned factories or parking lots. As a thing, street racing can mean a lot. From drifting around a lantern to dragging on a green light. The root of its being illegal is not so much in breaking speed limits, but in the risk of causing injury to gapers, wooers, and pedestrians, as well as destroying their property. Therefore, it is always a nice thing for a street racer to know a talented criminal law attorney and learn his phone number by heart. On a second thought, this is rubbish. Attorneys exist for losers, for those who get caught and are ready to pay money. You will not be caught. You know it for sure. You are too smart, cautious, and strong to become a loser. Street racing is technology. Technology means power. Power hidden under your bonnet. You worked hard to modify your vehicle and breed more speed and torque. And then even more. This required a lot of financial investment, high performance parts, engineering wits, and help from your friends. One does not simply install an OS without exploding the engine. At the end, you crafted a damn fast machine. You also made it look pretty, neat, and aerodynamic. Using all these boons appropriately, you will not only win the race, but leave the police in the clouds, somewhere behind. Street racing is for a sober mind. Too much adrenaline means defeat. You never race on potentially busy streets, be it day or night. You never race near shopping malls or schools. You never race to impress occasional gappers or your wooers. You never race in someone else's car, as you will lose. You always study the area, every pothole, junction and shortcut of it. You always think and act one step ahead of your competitors. You always know how to humiliate them, because humiliation is the name of the game. Otherwise, there will be no victory. Otherwise, the victory will not be splendid. Otherwise, you will never be the boss. Street racing is culture. All your friends and competitors are young and bold, aged between 17 and 24. You all prefer Japanese cars because they are light, small, agile, and easily tunable. All of your cars are hand-painted or wrapped in bright colors. All of you like showing off in your cars, talking about the engines, revving them up, savaging exhausts, savaging loudspeakers, and blinking the LEDs here and there. All of you are masterminds of your community. All of you know how to avoid the police. All of you know how to earn money on bets. And yes, all of you respect the code of behavior. It is only you who can make everyone think you're respected. Or is it only you who can make the respect? Street racing is politics. You run not to have fun, but to win. The victory brings you money, fame, and influence on the community. More wooers are taking your side. More competitors start treating you seriously. A bigger engine is mounted under your bonnet. You have to build and cement your hierarchy of power. Therefore, you should always win, even if you're doomed to lose. You should jostle, cheat, and bargain in a handicap against a more charged car, especially if your car is no less charged. You should know how to make a last-minute fix to your competitor's vehicle so that it could go kind of faster, or fly kind of faster. You should learn how to infuriate your competitors and make them follow you even on your jump start. Especially on your jump start. If they chase, it is a race. And they should leave the line behind your back and make you victorious. Because victory is what you look for. Virtuous behavior is useless in the world of street racing. Those who inspire fear and act ruthlessly usually win. Those who respect rules and make good impression always lose, sometimes die. And if cops are around, you should be sure to escape. Let the others be caught and keep calling their attorneys. This is how Darwin's law of natural selection works. Where the weakest go behind bars, the strongest remain free, don't you? Street racing is about gaining more power through force, deception, winning, and humiliation. There is no point in breaking the law otherwise. And if you decided to break the law once, be ready to do it again and again, whether necessary, cautiously and carefully, up to the moment when your mere shadow will make your competitors wet their pants. Now, the introduction is over. It is a proper moment to speak of Niccolò Machiavelli. Machiavelli was an Italian politician, intellectual, and statesman of the Renaissance period. He lived in very troublesome times, beset by clashes between different Italian republics, kingdom, duchies, the Papal state, and external fractions. Everyone was waging war against their neighbours. In this environment, Machiavelli wrote a short political treatise, The Prince, in 1513. The treatise came to be dedicated to Lorenzo di Piero di Medici, one of the power seekers whom Machiavelli advised on how to rule over the Florentine Republic. Because of the nature of this advice, Machiavelli became known as humankind's most outstanding teacher of evil. Machiavelli adored history. While reading of the deeds of the past, he noted an interesting regularity. Bad and risky guys usually win against good and gentle counterparts. Therefore, it is rational and justified for a power seeker, or the prince, to be bold and ruthless. Nothing personal, only business. Hard business, by the way, which requires much labor, prudence, scheming, and ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Princes may come to power in two ways, either by inheritance or by winning it. In the first case, the easier way, the superiority of princes is rooted into the tradition. Society used to have these blokes ruling. Society enjoys well-established connections. In the second case, the more challenging one, seekers face a hard time. On being raised to power, they crush tradition, undermine existing connections, eliminate competitors, and earn respect. As they succeed with their climb, they are very secure on the top. With all the competitors eliminated in the early stages, there will be none to question their authority. Machiavelli argued that violence and mercy should go hand in hand, with violence apparently prevailing. It is simply more efficient for the construction of a new power hierarchy and introduction of a new order. It is more convincing. Therefore, applying violence is the best way to purge the society of nonconformists. This purge should be carefully calculated and executed in one stroke, so that princes will not have to commit any other wickedness for the rest of their rule. According to Machiavelli, if power seekers need to hit, they should hit precisely and hard, so that no retaliation follows. The presumption of violence leads Machiavelli to another deduction. Princes should be ready to be bad. Good reputation is rarely a value added, as it precludes taking unpopular actions. It enchains princes. Therefore, the strategic decision for power seekers is that they should be feared, not loved, if they cannot be both. If members of a society are scared, they are more prone to keep their commitments and less inclined to riot. Fear is simply a means to an end, which is the security of princes. This should not be overdone. Supporters and soldiers, or friends and wooers, whom princes command, should always be kept in proper shape. They should always be ready for harsh competition, both physical and mental. The military matters, the training matters, the joint exploration of territory matters. The study of historical events and occurrences on this territory may matter even more. There should never be idleness or fear among supporters. And if princes command sabotage against their competitors, so it should be. For instance, loosening an oil cap, or damaging a wire while showing off, or blocking the exhaust with duct tape in a hustle before the drag race. Again, it is helpful if princes can inspire fear. Princes should be ready for different kind of power play. The latter includes two elements, deception and force. Machiavelli used the metaphors of a fox and a lion to illustrate this. If one commands enough soldiers and controls big territories, the lion option should go first. This resides in the blatant and straightforward crushing of all competitors. If one is weaker, then, for the sake of victory and security, the deception should be favored. For instance, this may take the shape of orchestrating a skillful provocation and making lions fight one another. The outcome is that the fox becomes the lion. Another option is deceiving all competitors that actually you are more powerful than you seem, or that you are less powerful than you seem. In both cases, the competitor fails into the well-disguised trap. Machiavelli encouraged princes to keep their promise only when it suits their purposes. This sounds very immoral, but, well, pragmatic. At the same time, princes should create the illusion that their promise is rock solid and that they are trustworthy blokes. In practice, this means do not break your promise unnecessarily, but do not hesitate to break it if needed. As to the role of luck in power seeking, Machiavelli warned against overestimating it. Luck can be steered through hard and consistent work. Machiavelli presented luck as a torrential river, which becomes a vital disaster during a flood. However, on calm, sunny days, people can easily erect dams to minimize its occasional range. This is what princes should do in the first place. Finally, Machiavelli warned against being tempted by flatterers. Their sweet words of excitement may prevent princes from taking harsh but necessary action. Their words may also distract from a wise counseling by a group of loyal and critically thinking friends. Princes should not become blind by the elusive public expectations. In a word, Machiavelli advised power seekers to be innovative, bold, and risk-taking. The moral principles of a daily life should be disregarded as they are burdensome. Moreover, as history shows, morality usually leads to defeat. Instead, power seekers should always do what should be done. They and their supporters should always be ready to win conflicts and wars, as the latter are unavoidable. They constitute a part of human nature. I bet if you follow this Machiavellian thinking and implement it appropriately in street racing, you will become collectively hated but invincible son of a bitch. And even if you die one day in staggering road accident, you may count on the same epitaph as Machiavelli has. The Latin legend on his monument reads, "Tanto nomini nullum par elogium," what can be translated as, "So great a name has no adequate praise." Postscriptum. Made to make things utterly clear, I strongly condemn street racing, and I disagree with Machiavelli. This said, thank you for being with me. This is it for today. Consider subscribing, consider looking at my other videos somewhere there, consider checking out my books somewhere below. And again, thanks for being with me. Thanks for spending time with me. I greatly appreciate that. See you next time.